When you say you feel something, you're saying that you feel sensation. But the question that I would like for you to investigate today is, where is the boundary between that sensation and that which supposedly feels it? In other words, what is it that feels the sensation? We talk about it as though it's a separate entity somewhere in here that is feeling things from a distance, and yet so we learn in basic biology that we have nerve receptors in the end of a finger, and that when we touch something with the fingertip, the signal travels all the way from the tip of the finger through the nerves all the way up into the brain, where it's processed and becomes the sensation itself. That's really handy to know on a biological level how this works, because obviously there is a relative truth to that. There is a body here that really does have nerve receptors, and it is actually investigating a world that exists in some fashion. But that's not our internal experience of sensation. It's not what it feels like to touch something. If you touch something that's warm, that is a different experience for you than touching something which is prickly or itchy. The internal experience of that is different, but the question is, where is that experience felt from? If I put my hand out and touch a wall, am I actually experiencing the sensation of the wall out there? Well, logically, we know that actually, again, it's just nerves firing, bringing electrical information up to the brain. So I could say, using the borrowed knowledge of the biology, that the feeling of sensation, the feeling of the wall, is actually happening inside the brain here. And on one level, that would be true. But that doesn't actually tell us what my experience of this is. And when we're in the awakening field, when we're trying to get down to our real experience of how we move through the world, it's not about what I have learned in a biology textbook about how the body works. It's about investigating the reality and the consistency of our actual experience. So if you can, put your hand on a wall or a flat surface or even your leg or anything else where you have contact. And then close your eyes, because the visual field will help to create that sense of distance, even if you're not feeling it. So close your eyes. Feel where that sensation is, however it's showing up. If it's warm, if it's soft, if it's tingly, if it's hard, if it's cool, is there pressure, however it shows up, just be aware of it. Notice the sensation itself as movement of energy. And now be curious, where exactly am I feeling this sensation from? Am I feeling it from the point of contact between the hand and the wall or the table or the leg? If not, where is the one who is observing that sensation? How is it even being felt at a distance? What an odd thing. We think about being able to see things at a distance. I could see the sun, but clearly I can't touch the sun. We think about being able to smell things from a distance. You walk into a garden and you smell flowers that are all around. We think about being able to hear things from a distance. I can hear traffic a mile away. But we can't really touch things or feel things from a distance. Not with the body. It's pretty much right here, right? We can maybe feel things to the extremities of our arms and our legs, but that's about it. And we can't really taste things from a distance. Maybe because it's connected to the olfactory sense, we might actually feel like we kind of taste those flowers a little bit when we're smelling them from a distance. But properly, food has to kind of enter the mouth. Something has to come in contact with the tongue for us to really fully taste it. We can go into a greater analysis of those sense fields another time, but right now, just become aware of, we have the idea that I can see something from a distance. And that gets kind of mistranslated as, well, in that case, I'm here and the sun is there. That puts me in a location. When we close our eyes and we feel the sensation in the body, like a hand on a leg or a table or a wall, I have that same sense of perspective. Like I am still here and the sun is out there, the traffic is out there, and the hand is down there. This is what we talk about in the sixth fetter. This is that key to non-duality, where you have that experience of one who is supposedly at the center of everything, at a distance from everything else. And it's even evidenced with the feelings in this body. It's what makes it seem like a foot is further away than the neck. Clearly, that puts you in a certain position. So come back in again to closing your eyes, feeling the sensation of the hand on something. Now, where is the one who is observing this sensation? Really? Do you see a mental image of the hand somewhere below or to the side of the perspective of the eyes? Does it seem like the sensation is happening down there or over there or up there? If so, down there below what? Over there to the side of what? Up there above what? What is supposedly in the middle? Can you find anything other than that sense of image, which is creating that sense of distance? And if not, this is perhaps a little bit more subtle of a point. Feel the sensation of the hand on anything. What can it feel like to be something other than that sensation? I know this is an odd question. What is being felt or seen or heard or smelled or tasted or known in some way that is not the sensation? Now you might have a visual field appearing, and we might contrast that with the sensation. But does that mean that you, the knower of the sensation, is itself the visual field? Of course not. You can't even be found within the contents of the visual field. And you are certainly not the visual field itself. So are you then the auditory field? Are you the sense of hearing? Of course not. You cannot even be found in the contents of the hearing, no less the actual hearing sense itself. Are you the olfactory sense, the sense of smell? Is that what's aware of the sensation of the hand? It sounds absurd, but investigate just to be safe. Of course not. And again, you are neither the sense field nor the contents of the sense field. Just to be rigorous, how about the sense of taste? Are you the sense of taste? Nope. And you're not the contents of the sense of taste. Be mindful that all of these things might be happening at the same time. And there might be some sort of compiling of all of them and even comparisons between them, which actually create that sense of distance, that sense of this is not that, this is not that, this is not that. And it's constantly pitting the parts of our experience against each other to create the fabric of a world where we have individual objects and people in it. But this is just a comparison of the different sense faculties happening internally. So, are you then the physical sensation itself? If you still feel the sensation of the hand, and if it's gone a little bit numb or a little bit weak, move it around to revitalize that sensation in your perception again. So if you are feeling that sensation, hand on something, you are likely also feeling lots of other sensation throughout the body. Is the awareness of the hand sensation being known by the sensations felt elsewhere around the body? No. But they might be compared to that sensation. Notice if it feels like there is some sort of comparison of, well, there is sensation here, and that feels a little bit more personal than the sensation down there. And that feels even more personal than the sensation down there at the foot on the floor. There might be gradations of what we take to be a feeling of importance or personal ownership of those sensations. But the more we can become absolutely aware of them with no extra overlays, the more we start to realize that these sensations are all the same. And then the question still remains, what is it that knows this sensation? What is it that observes this sensation? How is it known? What does that leave? I'm not going to give you that answer because that is for you to discover. That is where the potency happens. It's not in any of the sense fields. So what is separately knowing that sensation of hand on object? Happy inquiring.